Hey, it's Josh, and you're listening to The Other Show. Somebody gonna start this show?
Spencer, you starting it?
You told me a couple weeks ago, Josh, that you had to be the first one to talk, because if I talk first, then I come in all crackly.
It's not like proper decorum to have Josh speak first.
Yeah, like who made
No,
me the spokesman of The Other Show?
We did, actually. We voted.
Oh, boy.
There's no president, but you are you're the representative.
It was a 2-1 vote.
I never remember this vote.
You were absentee.
It's like the opposite of a dictatorship. We just want you to be our dictator, and you don't want it.
No, please don't.
Involuntary dictatorship.
You're our George Washington, Josh.
You've served your 2 terms since we're being all patriotic here, and we won't let you go. Right?
Instead of crossing the Delaware, you crossed the underwear.
Oh my! That's why we don't let Spencer talk first. I remember.
Yeah, it's all coming back. All coming back to me now.
Although, Spencer, I know you had a gripe, right?
Yeah.
Go on.
I want to say, just first off, thank you for jumping on with me like kind of last minute. We were going to postpone recording because I've had no internet all day.
Not even an excuse.
Yeah, there was a dump truck that took out your internet. Is that right?
Yeah, so somewhere in Ogden, a dump truck ran into a cable, just one cable, and internet was down for all of Weber County for 8+ hours.
That is the most Ogden thing to ever happen.
Well, no, Josh,
No.
no one got stabbed, so it's not, actually.
I was going to say,
We don't know the whole story yet.
the dump truck was an actual heavy machinery. It wasn't somebody's dump truck from 25th Street, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
Oh.
So, yeah, what was it, like an hour before we started, or we're recording now, your internet came back on?
Mm-hmm. Like I was actually texting Josh, and then I ended up calling him saying, "Hey man, are you getting my text messages?" Because I wasn't even sure those were going through. Because the world we live in, if the internet goes down and you can't watch Blippi or Blue's Clues on the YouTubes with your toddler, then you go right to cell data.
Yeah.
So all the cell phone towers were overloaded.
Oh, no, and if you text Josh or I and it was green bubbles, we'd actually wonder who you were.
Yep.
Like, we'd be like, is the world ending? Is it time to get the food storage out? We're at green bubble stage?
I mean, I would have unfriended you on Facebook. Oh, he's got green bubbles. Nope, not a friend of mine.
Are Android users better equipped for the zombie apocalypse?
No.
I don't want to talk about this.
Maybe they are. Wait, why do you want to talk about it?
Because it's all blue. It's all about blue. I hate it because...
But no,
like,
are we too privileged? Is it like this elite status that we're going to crumble? It's like an EMP going off as soon as everything goes green.
You're looking at this the wrong way. Okay? We live in Utah.
Okay.
Green bubbles, yes, they're more equipped for societal collapse when they have to go on a rampage and kill everybody because zombie apocalypse. iPhone users, we're so used to being one that we're ready for the millennium.
Oh
my gosh.
Wait, is this so? Yeah, on one hand,
We're
so you're
all
saying
under one ecosystem.
the iPhone users are going to go up in the rapture. It sounds like, and meanwhile, Android users are going to be eaten by zombies.
I don't think you mean up in the rapture. I think we're going to be taken up into the cloud. That's what they call it.
Oh, that's clever. The iCloud, if you will. Listen, I'm not judging people. I've been there. I was an Android user for 2.5 years, and there's a reason I was single for 2.5 years. Right? I don't know if you guys knew this, but when I'm on a dating app, it's like you have this conversation, the banter's going okay when it does, and then you go, "Hey, do you want to talk like regular? Do you want to like actually text?" And then they say yes. I've had people not only say when I text them, "Hey, it's Kent from that shady app," or whatever, which is always my lead in, and they go, "Thank goodness it's blue." Literally, that's what people say. And if it's green, sometimes I don't get a response back, even after I got their number, because the dating world is so exclusive to iMessage. Like it actually is a little bit of elitism and supremacy.
No, not elitism and supremacy. One ecosystem, one heart, one mind. Come on, Kent, get with the system.
This sounds like, listen, we've all escaped from a cult, Spencer. We don't need to go into your new one here, whatever is happening here.
But what's the Kool-Aid like?
It's grape.
The Kool-Aid is not compatible with any other Kool-Aid. It's really like Kool-Aid. No, but it is interesting because we know this when we're texting and you get the responses. For example, it's like I put a ha on something Spencer says, or a exclamation on something Josh sends, which he shouldn't have in the first place.
Right.
We can all see that, but it's the Android user in the chat that sees Josh laughed at this, and then you're like, why am I seeing this text again? Like, I do feel bad. I mean, and here I am picking on people.
No,
I feel bad that people have to see the Kent loved this. That's annoying.
The worst part, I was going to say, I'll see if Josh agrees with me.
Okay.
The worst is when you go from an iPhone group chat to a chat with an Android user and you can't reply to specific messages.
Nope.
That drives me nuts.
I hate it. I hate it. That's my family chat group, and I hate it because you've got like 15 people in this chat, and then they all like the one thing, and all you see is Luke likes this, Julie likes this, Jenny likes this.
Yeah.
Oh, Mom hearts this, and
it's the whole chat.
It's the whole chat. And you're like, what are we talking about again?
No, I just want to be able to reply to specific messages, so that if there's like multiple conversation, multiple topics, I can be specific to what I'm replying to. My little form of protest to what you're talking about, though, Josh, is I like the messages that say somebody liked something else.
Why?
Wait, why?
So that all the Android users will get a message that says, Spencer liked Mom liking a picture.
Gosh.
And then my little brother will like that one. So it'll be Taylor liked Spencer liking Mom liked a picture.
Well, here's why no one likes a picture or a video when it's sent in one of those intermingling chats, right? Because
one of those mixed chats.
Yeah, one of those mixed chats. Pictures and video don't come out clear. They're filmed in 1983.
And they're like a quarter of like you can't even see it.
Like you have to hold on to it with your finger to blow it up, and then when you do, it's like Loch Ness video. You're like, is this a cryptid?
I know.
Oh no, it's my niece at a dance recital. And then you're like, she's so cute. Is that a skinwalker?
Yeah, let's be honest. We've all lied and said that we enjoyed a video that somebody sent like that. We're like, oh, it's so cute. Who was that? What was going on? I didn't even bother.
So that said, I did have to come back to the Apple Fold, and I hate to do it because I like the customizable features of any other phone. But as far as like the convenience features of the chat and FaceTime, it just works for me for dating. Honestly.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a big reason why I'm
That's interesting. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, does it, I don't know. Like, why would a potential date?
Selfies send over better. They're more clear.
Okay.
Let's see.
So you can make sure that they don't have acne.
It verifies that you're real.
Yes. You can see the read messages, though I think Android can do that now too.
Yeah.
You can see when a message has been read.
So it promotes stalking much better, right?
Absolutely. You're like, why didn't he text me back?
No, I don't know about you, Kent, because I've been out of the dating scene for a couple years now.
Right.
Thank heavens.
Right.
But one of the reasons, and I married an Android user. I don't know why I'm even sharing this. But one of the reasons, like,
by the way, Android users, you're great people. This is just a tangent we're on. Anyway, Spencer, go on.
I always felt a little bit better when it was blue message because, like, oh, it's a real person. Like, it was easier to verify that they were an actual human being if it was blue message to blue message.
Wait, why can't scammers use an iPhone?
It's too expensive, and or it's easier to spoof from like a Google Voice number.
Accurate.
And there's a reason why all the scammers are asking for the Apple iTunes cards, because they're saving up for that iPhone.
They're very expensive.
They're very expensive.
Listen,
yes.
These hackers, they're maybe lonely. Maybe they want a date as well.
Hackers need love too.
Please don't make that a hashtag.
Just don't give them your credit card. Just give them your attention.
Ooh, actually, that should be the next reality dating show. Instead of like The Bachelorette or Farmer Wants a Wife, Scammer Needs a Partner. I don't know.
Well, hey, we're gonna workshop that title.
We'll need to.
But yes, enough about that. I want to talk about orcas.
Of course you do.
Again, hold on. Wait, do we have an update?
Yes, we do have an update.
This week in orcas.
That's more of a dolphin.
You know what?
Don't worry about it.
You guys are worried about me getting up the explicit rating. That right there, out of context.
Josh, what does an orca sound like? Do we know what an orca noise is?
That's kind of like Keiko in Free Willy.
No, I'm pretty sure that was Kenny's cat.
Could have been. Why is her tail up?
Yeah, again. Okay, so Josh, I need to know about the orcas.
Yes. So update on this. The orcas attacked a Dutch yacht this past week
What?
that is participating in the ocean race. And this is a boat race around the world that takes about 6 months to complete and over 32,000 miles around the world.
Okay.
They're tacking, yeah. So this yacht participating, going in the Mediterranean and everything, but also in the news this past week, orcas off the coast of Scotland have been starting to attack boats.
What?
Scotland.
So
It's spreading. It is like the planet of the apes.
No, and I read about one in Norway as well.
That could have been the ghost of Keiko. So, I don't know.
Oh, so now there's haunted orcas as well.
I mean, why not? We dabble in the paranormal.
So, I mean, like we've talked about this, right? And it's just insane that there's like a gang of orcas that are attacking boats. And I actually watched a video like 2 weeks ago where they attacked a rudder and they pulled it off of a boat. And it wasn't even the first time you mentioned the story. It was a follow-up to that. And so it's like weekly that these gangs are attacking boats.
Yeah. Granted, I don't think we're even hearing about all of them because, some of them are it's just aggressive behavior.
Mm-hmm.
But, we're hearing the ones where,
They're survivors.
yeah, they're survivors. But seriously, though, like, this is a movie. This is a movie plot.
Yeah.
And it's
nuts. But they're so cute, though, right?
Are they?
Like, they're just no, they're like elegant creatures. Don't you think?
They really are. They're so smart. Apex predators, right? I mean, gosh, I can't even tell you how many orca videos I watch each day, a week.
Wait, each day. What do you mean? Like, are we talking Instagram
like,
reels?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
okay.
You see these reels of orcas that, I mean, they will go into an area like South Africa, right?
Yeah.
They will go in and they will attack and then eat the liver of great white sharks.
What?
Which essentially,
the great white sharks in South Africa are some of the biggest on the planet,
and they are petrified of orcas. I mean, they are, yeah. And so these orcas basically
awesome.
that it's more of this. Hey, any great white shark who gets a smell of this, you're next if you come anywhere close to where we're hunting. So
wow,
they're getting into fragrances.
It's more of a warning scent.
But instead of axe, it's shark livers.
Sure.
I won't lie. There's a part of me that wants to advocate for an orca week. We got Shark Week.
Yeah.
Why can't we have Orca Week? I'm just saying.
That's a good point.
And now we have some more compelling stories, with these boats and everything.
Maybe we just kind of let this happen, though, right? Like, I'm not saying it's good for boats and people to be attacked. Like, that's really horrible. But I also don't want people to all of a sudden be afraid of orcas or people start to hunt them like people do sharks, right? Because sharks have become endangered.
Well, I don't want people to hunt orcas.
Right.
But I do want them to have a healthy fear.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true. That all started for me when I watched Scamper when I was 7 years old.
Oh my gosh, you watched Scamper too?
I'm so glad you know what Scamper is, because that was a shot in the dark.
Is that the Russian propaganda cartoon?
Yes.
That you were trying to... Okay.
Have you not seen this, Josh?
No, you sent it to me sometime during the pandemic.
Wait, Spencer, why is it a Russian propaganda cartoon?
Oh, didn't you know this was actually made? It was a joint venture between Japan and Russia.
I had no idea. Obviously, it worked on me.
Yeah. Oh, it worked on me too. I didn't learn this until I was sailing the high seas, finding a copy.
A little bit of background for Scamper. Scamper is a like a baby. It's not a seal, right?
Mm-mm.
Hold on, I'm looking this up.
Scamper was a penguin who was
a penguin. You're right.
Yeah, Scamper the penguin.
The synopsis is
the
adventures of.
Let me see how my synopsis compares to the official synopsis.
Okay.
It is the adventure of Scamper and his friend as they're separated from their flock and try to find their way from the high seas back home.
That's actually really good. You should have written the actual one because the synopsis here is the adventures of a little penguin living in Antarctica, and the original title is You guys ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Spencer, I almost want you to look it up as I'm reading it, but it's Plikliuchenia Pingvinikalolo, period. Film Pervy. It's directed by Gennady Solitsky and Kenji Yoshida. So this is a Soviet Union Japanese joint.
Told ya.
Absolutely. It says it right here.
Propaganda, man.
I had no idea. Everyone in the cast list looks like a member of the KGB.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is now going to be a deep dive. I have to find out what is going on behind this.
You know, I do have a copy of Scamper that you have access to.
Oh, okay. Oh, so sail the high seas and look out for Scamper.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Oh, you don't even need to sail the high seas. I mean, it's an illegal gray area.
So,
Yeah.
So basically, Kenny, what he's saying is tomorrow, when you get back from the vet
Mm-hmm.
and you're sitting there with Misty Mountains, put on Scamper, get propaganded.
No, listen, I don't want to re-memorize the communist national anthem, the Soviet Union national anthem, which I'm pretty sure I did as a kid. Rasivinya.
I've never loved Russia any more than right now.
Yeah, that propaganda just worked.
Yeah.
Wait, why is it propaganda? What are you talking about? Just because it was made in the Soviet Union?
Yeah, it was supposed to be to like sympathize with the Soviets.
Oh, well, he is a red penguin, so...
No, he's a blue penguin.
Yeah, I know, I'm joking.
His girlfriend is a pink penguin.
Yeah.
And then they meet a macaroni penguin.
I love that you actually know. I was like, I think it's a seal.
I think he watched it like earlier today.
Yeah.
The internet was out. He had some time to watch some movies.
I mean, you saw his eyes light up when I said Scamper out loud. He's like, wait a minute.
No, because this is the one time where mine and Kent's childhoods have aligned and Josh's
Yeah, no,
hasn't.
that's true.
That is true.
And this is
That
the
is
one movie that
absolutely
I would
true.
expect Josh 100% be like, oh no, I got a tattoo of Scamper on my right one.
Hey, speaking of which, did you guys watch the I Gotta Go or Potty Power, whatever that was?
On repeat.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
The music's great, right?
It really is.
The music's banging, but can I tell you how awkward it is to watch that right after you finish watching the Jared Fogle documentary?
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that.
Hazel loves it though, so I've watched it with her a couple times.
Is she potty trained now?
No, but she will tell us when she's poopy, which is progress.
No, here's the thing. Spencer, you just got to put the towels down, the little kid potty right in the TV room, and watch the whole thing. It'll work.
I've been doing this wrong.
For you or her.
I had her sitting on my lap.
Oh, no.
I'm in the danger zone. I'm in the splash zone.
That is the splash zone.
That is the splash zone.
All right, let's jump onto some calls. We got some calls, right?
We have a couple here.
Hey guys, it's Allison. So I kind of have to throw my beef out about parades. So growing up, obviously as kids, you love parades because you see princesses and horses and you get free candy. It's fantastic. And I remember every year for 10 years straight, my dad would find us a spot at the Provost Independence Day Parade, and we would go camp out and, do the whole thing, and it was great. I took a gap year and, didn't think about it till my friend brought it up. We went again when I was 13, and my dad's like, okay, if you want to do this, you have to camp out yourself. So we did. 13 years old on a parade route in Provo. Yeah, that involved absolutely no sleep that night. It was terrible. And I vowed to never, ever go to another parade again. Until I was in high school, and I joined marching band, and I was in color guard. And I was forced to do parades, which, let's be real, being in marching band and wearing those stuffy outfits, even as color guard, you don't, you still have a lot of material that you're wearing. It sucks to march in parades, especially Provo, where that route was 2.5 miles long. I will never, ever do it again. And after, my senior year, I vowed to never do another parade until Saturday, where I took my daughter to her first parade, which was Strawberry Days. But it was nice because we parked in front of the fire station, and the police cut off right before the fire station. So we threw our blanket down, watched the parade. As soon as the parade was over, picked up our blanket, walked back to the fire station, and poof, done. But I don't think I'll go to another parade for quite some time because they are ridiculous. And those little kids nowadays are savages. Holy crap. And then you have Instagram mommies who make everything boring. So anyway, hopefully we'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.
I can talk to you about Hazel's first parade.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, Stephanie. I'm not trying to pick a fight here. I apologize.
I think you already have.
Oh, I know. Stephanie knows what's coming here because Hazel's first parade was the Preston Thanksgiving parade. And it was the weekend.
That's got to be horrible.
I'm sure it's a fine parade, but the first time we took Hazel to it, it was the weekend where I was pretty sure I was in the zombie apocalypse. Everybody had been sick. We're in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Hazel had been throwing up. And this parade, it's a night parade. So you have like the sirens and the tractors going past you. It's really loud and it's negative nothing degrees outside.
Yeah, Preston has no business doing a parade like
Whoa.
this in the middle of winter at night.
Yeah, unless they're pulling kids on sleds. I don't know why they're doing this.
They have fireworks.
Do they throw out saltwater taffies?
Well, no, because they're frozen when they hit you and you get welts.
Exactly. That's your first mistake. Preston parade.
In winter.
No, we're going to get you to some of the real parades, like during the summer when it's Demolition Derby. Is that a parade or just a Demolition Derby? I'm not sure.
It's a white trash parade of sorts.
It's just people driving their cars that they're going to get smashed to the stadium, I think.
I like how Allison, she's like a horrible quitter, basically. She's like, you know what? I'm done for life. And then she's like, until next year.
Well, and here's the funny thing is I think for the most part, everybody pretty much hates a parade.
Okay, good.
And I know that Allison is in this same boat because when it comes to going to Disneyland, you're all for it. You know, like, oh, it's a Disney parade. You know, the crowds are much worse. You know, people stake out their places like even worse than any, 4th of July or 24th of July parade.
Well, it's not days in advance, but they'll just park on a curb, basically.
Depends on the parade.
Are you telling me, Josh, that Utahns with their love affair with Disneyland, the Provo parade, the Independence Day parade, the Bountiful Handcarts Day parade, that's all just training for Disneyland?
It pretty much is. It's the minor leagues for Disneyland.
Getting spots in parades.
Getting spots in parades. You need to know how to box out, your neighbor. Make sure that you get, a good view of the floats.
Elbow.
I never sit for Disneyland parades. I avoid parades at all costs. Parades at Disneyland are a chance to go on rides again, right?
It depends. It depends. Like I'm not somebody who goes to Disneyland and has to watch the parade every time I go.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to at least see it once or twice, depending on what it is. Like if it's the the Main Street Electrical Parade, yes, I will sit through that because that is my favorite. But if it's any of the newer ones, or if they're coming out with a new one at night or whatever, I'll watch it once, and that's it.
Okay.
Based on Allison's experience, I feel like the only reason we do parades is for kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is this just perpetuating an abusive cycle of parades?
I think so. And it's ran by the Shriners and all the businesses just doing free advertising.
If that's not the reason.
But no, truly, we are spreading this to our kids. Absolutely.
And if it's not to perpetuate the abusive cycle, do we go to parades for the same reason people watch NASCAR? They really hope to see a gruesome crash, but in slow motion.
Thankfully, it's not too soon.
Actually,
but we'll find out next week.
Yeah. Okay. But kind of in the same vein of this, though, like I actually was thinking about this past weekend because my wife and her family and we all went to the Taylorsville Days celebration that they have down here.
The Days.
Yeah. Double Z, because it started
Utah
in the late
team.
90s. Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And honestly, well, first off, like best fireworks show in the state of Utah.
Oh, really?
Oh,
what?
Like hands down. It is about 25-30 minutes long, and it's just, it is awesome. My only critique is that the soundtrack the past couple years has kind of sucked.
For example,
they started off with like Lee Greenwood, which was great, but then they went to The Little Mermaid.
Oh, the Scuttlebutt.
Yeah, and
remember that squawk?
And
sorry to everyone who knows that.
There was no Neil Diamond.
What?
They played one of the One Direction. I don't even know their names. Thankfully, it wasn't the Watermelon Sugar or whatever song.
That would be inappropriate.
I would have walked out on that one.
Yeah, but that would be totally on brand for Utah to not realize it wasn't actually talking about watermelon sugar.
Like, I love watermelon.
I love getting that at Swig.
But it was this weird array of like songs. Like, this is not a fireworks song. Like, it should be patriotic, or it should be kind of like 80s, maybe some 90s kind of pop rock,
or at least epic feeling, right? If we can
Yes.
match it with the music,
Yeah.
I think that's great.
The ultimate song is "Eye of the Tiger," right?
Is it "Eye of the
Like
Tiger"?
the ultimate fireworks song. Yeah.
Thunderstruck. I mean, Thunderstruck is my answer to pretty much any song.
Funeral song?
No, because "Eye of the Tiger"
Why not?
is part of Rocky, and Rocky 4 is the most American movie ever.
I agree. Maybe Hearts on Fire.
Ooh,
This
yeah.
is a whole nother conversation.
Ooh, that would be
We're-
really good.
Yeah.
Can we just play
But-
the
oh, but-
Rocky 4 soundtrack?
Let's just do that. Phil American.
Anyway, so seriously, it is the best fireworks show in the state of Utah.
Cool.
But I have a gripe about it, though. And I don't know if it's just Utahns or if it's pretty much anybody who has an iPhone or an Android. But
No one's recording video on an Android.
that's true. But anybody
Even
who
Android's not
takes-
recorded on an Android. Have you seen their commercials? They say that it's not. In the little text at the bottom, not actually filmed on an Android.
Shot on an iPhone.
Honestly, though, like people who take pictures of fireworks don't know what they're doing.
No.
Like, have you ever, like, you sit there you're watching this fireworks show, and then you have some, whole bunch of people right in front of you with their phones right in front of their face, and they're sitting there and they're taking pictures, and they're all crappy pictures. Nobody knows how to do them.
You see them on Facebook, and bless your hearts if you do this.
Mhm.
It doesn't make you a worse person. It just means that we're used to seeing it a lot, but you see it on Facebook. And it'd be like video with like Story of My Life by One Direction in the background, right?
Right.
We don't really need to see this. I would rather see pictures of people at a fireworks show, but the fireworks don't have to be going, right?
I'd rather watch The Flash.
That's
No, you
saying a lot.
We'll get there, Spencer. We'll
Yeah.
get there. I have questions for you in just a little bit.
But let me just say this, though. For people who sit there and try to take the perfect picture for fireworks, like, yeah, if you're going to post a picture of fireworks, make it one of like a few pictures of your celebration, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here's the key: don't sit there and try to time it with your finger to get the big explosion. All you have to do is take video of it for however long, and then you can go back and do a screenshot.
No,
Even that's
no.
too much.
No, it's
It-
not.
it-
They
Yeah,
are good.
no.
Firework pictures are the ultimate. You had to be there.
Yeah.
Nobody cares what fireworks look like in Taylorsville. I'm sorry, Josh, because we're going to see them in a week somewhere else. Oh, green brights,
Well, then
fiery
don't look
stars,
at my
whatever.
Instagram story for today.
I won't.
And Josh, I'm just going to say this. I'm not a photographer at all. But you don't do a video and then a screenshot. That's what burst mode is for.
No,
Burst mode.
that is no. It has to be the video, because even with a burst mode, you're not going to get that good picture, especially when all of the shells are exploded in the in the background and everything. It's got to be video and then screenshot.
You're not going to get a good picture from a video screenshot. Next call.
Hey, this is Drew. This message is actually for all those people who are like, oh yeah, take your kids to Disneyland when they're newborns and 2 and 4 and 7 and 8 and 10 and all stages of life. Not all of us are loaded and can take our kids 17 times in their lifetime. I get the military discount tickets, and even then, it's only going to be 2 or 3 times in their life that they get to go to Disneyland or Disney World. And so for those who can't spend all that money, I recommend waiting until the kids are at least 5 or 6 so they remember some of it, maybe even older. I had a blast with my kids when they were 10 and 12 at Disneyland. So it was great. We got to do all the rides. They were old enough to walk on their own. and go on all the rides. So that's my recommendation. And yeah, bye.
So here's my plan. I have a little proposition for you guys.
Okay.
I think we should sponsor a network. I know I've kind of been against networks a lot, but I think we should help some friends start a podcast, because I want to see Drew and I want to see Brian in a room fighting it out. I want to see them, because Brian called last week about taking kids to Disneyland, right? And he just savaged, well, me in particular, and he made some solid points. But Drew also knows how to argue, and I would love to have them do a podcast together.
I support this.
Yeah?
I would love to hear that.
Do you think it will last like 2 weeks? Do you think they'll destroy each other? Like, is this me just kind of like eating popcorn, being
As
like,
long
let's see
as it
what
doesn't
happens?
end with murder, I think it'd be great.
And even if it does, we can just make Kent talk about it on this show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll just be a true
Yeah.
crime podcast episode.
Because it leads to murder. That's so sad.
But really, Drew, I don't think you're wrong either. I think I only went a couple times growing up for that exact reason, because it is expensive and not everybody can afford to go all the time. I think the only reason we went 3 or 4 times growing up was because my dad's from Southern California. And let me tell you, Mormons know how to network. They know who works at Disneyland, and then you splinter off, and employees can get so many people in free a day. And they have little networks where it's like, okay, you get my kids in this week, I'll get your kids in this week. And you show up and your family divides you out, and they're like, okay, you're actually his kids today, and you're going to be this lady's kids today. No, don't worry, she's in your uncle's ward or stake or something like that.
It's a lot of trust. Wait, was this back in the day? Because I can't imagine this happening now.
Was 2016 back in the day?
Oh, well, yeah, and a lifetime ago. Let's be honest.
This was in the pre-COVID times.
Yeah. Well, Drew, I agree. I agree. You know, it's in no matter what, it's always fun to go to Disneyland, right? Whether you take your kids at any age, it's always going to be fun. But is it fiscally responsible?
I mean,
No.
it's getting worse and worse every year. You know,
I think the key is, when it comes to making a decision when and how often to go with your family, yes, financial responsibility and memories. As long as you're making a memory, it doesn't matter if the kid remembers it or not. They're going to pretend they remember it anyway.
Yeah.
true. Is that Misty Mountains in the background?
Yeah, this will be the last time you're going to have to hear that wonderful whine.
What are you looking at over there? Is there a bum up?
She's presenting herself again. It's too much. She looks me in the eyes and then she turns around. I'm like, there's nothing I can do for you here.
Not yet.
I'm sorry. Hey, speaking of rear ends, Spencer, I want to ask you about the Flash again. I don't know why, but
What
it's just the
kind
butt
of
of every
Flash?
joke.
It's a great transition.
Yeah. So, Spencer, you brought up the Flash. Have you seen it yet?
No, I'm going to be completely honest. I keep meaning to go during lunch at work, like just by myself to see it. But they announced today that it is going to be released digitally on July 18th. So like in 2 weeks.
Didn't it come out like June 18th or something?
This was the second weekend. We just had 2 weeks in theaters.
Holy cow.
As of the airing.
It might
Yeah, no,
not
it's
make
insane.
100 million.
Yeah. So what they're saying,
Wow.
it just passed 200 million. They're saying it'll make about 280 million to 300 million by the end of its run. This is a movie that was hyped up to be the next $1 billion earner by all the advanced press, and everyone's saying this was the best DC movie since The Dark Knight. But I actually kind of wonder why it's not making the money, other than like there's obvious reasons in my head, and then there's obvious reasons about Ezra Miller.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But I don't know if the general public knows about Ezra Miller like we do, right? Like we go on social media, we read about this. I don't know if the regular audience knows or cares about Ezra Miller at all. I just wonder why people are not seeing this movie.
I think it's a couple reasons. Well, one is they all think, well, the DCU's ending anyway, so why bother? This is like the last hurrah, like the last dregs of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, unfortunately, this is going to impact Blue Beetle, which is supposed to be the start of the next one.
There's people listening going, what?
Yeah.
What's Blue Beetle?
That would be me.
The second is, I honestly think there is a bias against DC films. People won't give DC films the same shot that they will Marvel films.
Because it doesn't have an Infinity Stone, or what?
No. I could go into a whole history here about...
Yes, you could, and we could dedicate a whole show to it.
I think if the audience wants to hear my theory as to why I think DC got hammered in this last round of movies, and Marvel has not for the same committing the same sins, we can do an entire episode. But I won't get into that here.
Okay.
And I want to talk more about orcas. So we should just vote about this.
Well, wait for Marvel to make an Orca Man movie.
Probably going to happen.
But based on like how movies have been performing, I kind of wonder why they're giving such a large budget to these movies. Because The Flash was made for $220 million. There's no way it was made for that little. There's no way with the reshoots and the edits. And I know they don't pay their graphic.
Pushing back.
They don't pay their special effects team. Yeah, they pushed it back for over 2 years at this point. The promotion they've been doing, they basically paid off Tom Cruise to say he liked the movie. I don't think they spent just that amount. And it's going to lose probably reportedly $150 to $300 million at this point.
Oh, man.
Yeah, insane. To the point now where Warner Brothers, and sorry, now I'm getting to the weeds, but I'll be quick enough about it. Warner Brothers is selling, they say, half of their library, which will probably be most of the music rights that they have produced so far.
It's music rights.
But they also said Batman films are in question. There's a chance that they could say, hey, Netflix, will you buy Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, which is worth a lot of money. And basically, Josh, what that means is every time Netflix would pay to have it on their streaming service, that money would go to Warner Brothers. But if they own it, let's say they buy that for $100 million, they now own it and don't have to pay anyone else to air that.
Okay.
And so there's a chance we're going to see this huge shuffle. And Spencer, maybe on that whole episode where you and I just make it, maybe you and Josh is sick, we'll do the geekiest show ever. And we'll talk about Marvel and DC and not like the movies themselves, but the history behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Because I think DC and Warner Brothers screwed everything up by just not trusting their directors and are now maybe going to be a bankrupt studio.
I was going to say, because I would love to get that understanding of the history, because I'm very much a newbie to that all.
And I would actually go even further back, Kent, to 1978.
Okay.
The original Superman.
Go on.
And then to the comic industry in the 90s.
Okay. So, Josh, we're going to have to like basically say, hey, here's an episode. We edited like 2 hours out of it. Oh, and speaking of, that's another factor. And I know we're glossing over a lot, but movies now are 2 hours and 30 minutes a piece. And I know we'll talk about some movies coming up, but some of the big movies in July are well over 2.5 hours. The Flash is 2 hours, 24 minutes. Every superhero movie recently has been very long. Across the Spider-Verse was the longest animated movie, all but one, I believe.
Really?
It's just crazy what they're expecting audiences to sit with.
I mean, that could give somebody like a bladder infection, you know?
Like you? Is that what you're saying?
I'm a 40-year-old man, you know. I have to start worrying about my prostate.
But I mean, we have Indiana Jones coming out, and maybe we'll just talk about movies coming out in July pretty soon.
We should.
But that movie is about 2.5 hours as well. These people just don't know how to tell a story. Maybe it's TV that they're like, hey, when you do TV episodes, you can tell a longer story with more character development. Let's just make a movie nearly 3 hours and see what happens. But back in the day, we got 2-hour movies and they were tight.
Yeah.
You know, they're easy to watch.
Well, and if you wanted to push into 3 hours, then that became a super rare one-off or split into 2 different movies.
Right.
It really does make you wonder what the future of movies is, right? Like,
I'm hoping that they go back to what we had in the 90s and 2000s in, film history. I'm hoping we go back to shorter movies.
More Will Smith?
Maybe, but we have smaller budgets.
Okay.
Because based on streaming, we've actually lost the medium budget film.
Mm-hmm.
It's a dying art. You either have like indie movies that some people see and play opposite the blockbuster, the tentpole movies that cost $200 to $300 million to make. I want to see movies where a director has $30 million and the movie will make a profit because you only need a certain amount to see it.
Like Sergeant Bilko.
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant. Like Sergeant Bilko.
That's the exact one he had in his mind.
Scamper on one hand, Sergeant Bilko on the other. If that's not propaganda. But no, I hope that we go back to medium budget films or superhero movies are made for under 100 million, kind of like the Batman was, to be quite honest. And here's a budget. Let's see what you can do.
Well, and between that and like the stories, nobody's being creative.
No.
And speaking of propaganda, Kent, have you noticed how many corporate thrillers there are coming out this year?
Yep, a ton.
Yeah. Just to tell you what's come out so far and what's still coming out, we've had Tetris,
Yeah,
Air, Blackberry, Flaming Hot. That's what's come out so far. We still
I
have
forgot about that.
the Beanie Bubble, which is about Beanie Babies, and that market crash.
Wait. Blackberry is about the phone?
The phone.
I thought that was a Barack Obama movie.
Josh.
Wait, hold on. Hold on.
Oh my God.
I like that.
No, I'm dead serious. Like, I thought that was a Barack Obama movie.
Wait, so
They had to differentiate between the Bill Hader one.
So you thought berry just meant white berry. And Blackberry was that Barack Obama, a really casual look at Barack Obama.
I thought there was a Barack Obama movie that was coming out this year. This is why I'm not the movie expert.
Oh man, that's so good. I would pay to see Blackberry. That is, Spencer. I know you had a point and it got lost now.
Somebody's got to ask the questions here, because I know that somebody else was confused just like me.
You know, I had a joke here, Josh, that I was setting up about Beanie Baby, Dumb Money, and then the last one being Wonka, corporate thrillers. But
Yeah, it's done.
yeah.
Okay, well let's talk about movies coming out this month in maybe in the last 5 minutes or so. Josh, I think you have a list of ones you want to see, and like kind of hearing them out, I was like, yeah, that's pretty much it. And I'll jump in if there's any surprises. So what do you have on your list?
So on the 7th, so next weekend is Insidious: The Red Door, which I believe is the third installment from what I read.
Heavens no, actually it's part 3 for the family, but there are now 5 Insidious movies. But what they've done is 3 and 4 were just kind of offshoot stories, and they've taken the family in the first 2, which is Rose Byrne and Patrick Wilson, and they're continuing that story. Their son that was in a coma is now in college, still being haunted. So this is a continuation, but they have declined in quality every single movie. So I'm a bit worried. That said, I really like the first one. So
I've never seen any of them. I don't do well, and well, I mean, you know.
Oh, you should. You should see the first one.
You should have taken me then.
I think Josh should.
Yeah, maybe I'll take you.
We'll go. If there's a jump scare there,
a lot.
Maybe my lazy eye will come out for you.
Ladies.
So then the next week on the 12th, which is a Wednesday premiere, it's the big one for the summer, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Mm-hmm. Which I see tomorrow.
Okay.
This is another kind of curse of what movies are this year, which is part 1s, right? Where we have part 1s, like whether it's Fast X, Spider-Verse, or Mission Impossible. We have movies that end on a cliffhanger and you go, cool, I'll see you next year or 2 years from now.
And when is part 2?
They said next year, but they haven't even shot it yet. And we're in a writer's strike. So,
that could be
but I will see it. It is early buzz is good, right? It's Tom Cruise being a nut. Right, he will risk his life to make this movie cool.
He doesn't need to be behind a camera for that, you know.
No, right.
Do you think this will be the top grossing film for the year?
Nope. No movie will beat Super Mario.
I was going to say, because I saw the numbers for that, and they're up like 300 million.
Spencer, what do you think?
I actually do think that Mission Impossible has a chance to dethrone Super Mario.
Yeah, because of the Top Gun effect.
Yeah, Top Gun effect, big movie, summer. People will go see that. I think the only reason that Mario has the legs that it has is because it's a family movie. Like, it's the most inoffensive movie you could take your family to, and nostalgia.
Right. Like, there is a movie that, if it was really good, Indiana Jones, for example, comes out this coming weekend. That movie was made for $300 million, going back to the issues of movies losing money. And if the movie was really awesome, they would expect that to be $1 billion earner. The movie will fail because word of mouth will be bad, because the movie is pretty boring.
I mean, it's 80-year-old Harrison Ford.
Yeah, and it's just not going to cash in like they hope. I don't see how a movie could even be profitable having that much money spent on it.
I'm pretty sure that Harrison Ford couldn't sit through 2.5 hours of his own movie.
No, he will have the bladder infection for sure.
Yes, he would.
You know what's interesting? Ken, I don't know if you noticed this, but before all the screenings, how Harrison Ford said, yeah, I'm not done with the character. I'm going to do this until the day I die. And then after the screenings and the critic reviews started coming out, his most recent statement was along the lines of, I need to remember how old I am.
Yep.
And start taking more age-appropriate roles.
Yep. And that is what this movie is. He's in good shape for his age, but there's nothing he really does on screen other than sit in a car in car chases.
Sounds like a sweet gig to me.
Yeah, I mean, sure. But it makes for a pretty boring movie that people aren't really going to care for all that much.
Sure.
They'll love the nostalgia. The soundtrack is, of course, amazing,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so you get into the feels with that, but it will be, I think, remembered less fondly than Crystal Skull.
Oh, that's saying something.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Put it out there.
Interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
so then moving on to the following weekend.
Yeah, so we had Mission Impossible.
Yes, Mission Impossible. We have two pretty big ones that are coming out on the 21st.
Oh, yeah.
The first one is it Oppenheimer? Oppenheimer?
Yeah. Oppenheimer.
I need to watch some propaganda.
Yeah, you actually got it.
Okay, I was going to say, I'm like, I probably need to
Yeah.
work up on my
So-
German.
Once again, this is a 3-hour movie, which is going to be rough because this is a slow-moving character piece biopic about
Mhm.
Robert Oppenheimer, starring Cillian Murphy, directed by Christopher Nolan, which is why this one has the buzz.
Well,
Sure.
Christopher Nolan detonated a bomb for this movie.
Christopher
he's-
Nolan's first film away from Warner Brothers,
Yeah,
and this cast is absolutely stacked
yeah.
compared to his past.
So are they just going for the Oscars? Is that pretty much the play on
It's
this?
weird. Like, if they really want to go for the Oscars, it wouldn't be Nolan because he knows he will never get a Best Director. He's leans slightly conservative, and so he'll never get an award that way.
Mhm.
My personal thoughts. But also, he should release the movie in October or November if he wants an award.
Sure.
But the movie itself will be nominated for Best Picture. It's as far as that goes.
Okay.
But this will be one that I think it's R, but this is one that dads will love because it will be kind of the documentary effect of telling about this man who created something that ended so many lives.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? It will be absolutely compelling.
This one, you're right, is rated R.
hmm
I think that's why it actually has an edge and is the most likely one to get Nolan his Best Director
Could be.
Oscar.
Okay. We should make a bet. We'll bet lunch on it.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, this next movie probably could get that one. The next big movie is Barbie.
Sleeper hit of the year. Absolutely.
You really
the
think
movie
so?
The movie is an hour and 43 minutes. Made for cheap.
Mm-hmm.
It has a really likable cast. Ryan Gosling doing his thing. Margot Robbie, who is sensational in pretty much everything she does.
It taps into
And-
nostalgia like Mario.
The movie could go some weird places narratively, so I'm a little bit worried about what they're going to try to do to modernize it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it seems like it's in on the joke. I think this is one that will do far better than Oppenheimer, actually, at the box office.
It's probably not a family movie, do you
We'll see.
think?
We'll see. We'll see.
It's-
I mean, based on some of the jokes in the trailer, no.
Okay.
But yeah, my daughter was even like, you hear that cat right now, right?
I hear the cat.
My daughter was like, why is Barbie PG-13? I was like, yeah, I know. Sorry.
I actually had to second guess that wasn't my daughter crying, Kent.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's definitely my cat being frustrated. All right, Josh, is that all the movies you're looking forward to in July?
Last one is the last weekend in July, and this one I'm excited about. I'm optimistic, and I'm a little scared. Haunted Mansion.
Oh,
And I'm scared not because of the content. I'm scared because
Jared Leto.
it can't afford another, bomb like the Eddie Murphy one.
yeah. I've heard nothing about this movie. Promotion has been very light.
Yeah, I did see on social media this past week that like Owen Wilson and I don't know the whole cast, but
Rosario Dawson and
they were doing some promos at Disneyland at the Haunted Mansion. So I'm sure that
Listen,
they're
it-
going to ramp it
it
up.
features the Hatbox Ghost a lot, and I think
Mhm.
that's a win. I think
Oh, yeah.
stylistically, I think this movie will be a surprise, but it will never be the heights of what, let's say, Pirates of the Caribbean.
No.
I mean, Kent, this movie did start at the place of many a decent B-level horror movie started. According to Wikipedia,
Okay.
it was a reboot adaptation based on The Haunted Mansion, which began development July 2010 when Guillermo del Toro, who intended to write and produce, stated the project would take place in a heightened reality rather
Yeah,
than the real world.
Don't break my heart. Let's not
Del
talk
Toro
about...
was no longer attached to the projects as of 2013.
Yeah.
Wow.
The projects that guy should have been a part of, it just breaks my heart. But
Oh,
it will be a basic Disney movie. I think it will probably be fun for kids
Yeah.
and could be a fun one for the summer.
Honestly, though, they shouldn't have done it. They should have just made.
why is it in July?
Not sure.
I think it changed from August, if I remember correctly. Like it was supposed to come out.
It should have been in September.
That is true. Like when they do the switch over, at Disneyland. It would have been a perfect time.
So for all those people who don't want to take kids to a kid scary movie, there's a genuinely scary movie coming out on the 28th of July, and it's called Talk to Me. And this one, I've talked about it before on Bacon Cell, but it's about this just disembodied ceramic hand that teens.
Oh, I've seen the previews for this one.
Teens at a party you have to shake the hand, Josh, and you're tied to a lazy boy, like literally strapped to it, and everyone's watching you, recording you. They start timing you. You shake this hand,
and you're possessed.
It's basically like a dumb teen game, and you say, "Talk to me." And you're the only one that can see what happens. But an apparition appears in front of you, and you have a conversation with it. They put a timer on because if it's over a minute, this thing can actually possess you, and things go really poorly, granted, which is exactly how the movie happens. I saw this one at Sundance. It's incredible. I can't wait to watch it again. Josh, we may have to have a movie night so you watch it over here, and I force you to watch a movie like this.
I'll bring the pizza.
Spencer, you'll really like this one.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Only if you take me to the Haunted Mansion as well.
Okay, deal. We'll do a double feature.
Yes.
We'll start with Talk to Me, and then
Okay.
do Haunted Mansion so you feel a little more relaxed.
Okay, yes.
I'll bring my footy pajamas.
Yeah. But yeah, so that is kind of July. We have some big movies, but once again, most of them are long, and a lot of people may just choose not to see them and see them on streaming in a month.
Yeah,
after they come out.
It's going to be really interesting to see the reception that they get.
Yeah.
And to see how quick they go into streaming, because I feel like that's the direction that a lot of these movies this year are going to go.
Right.
And it will be interesting to see what changes in the future. So
Totally. Okay. Well, Josh, with that, take us on out.
I think it's time to say goodbye. Guys, thank you so much. On behalf of Kenny and Spencer, we want to thank you for listening to The Other Show. We know that there are a ton of podcasts out there that you can choose from. So the fact that you choose to listen to us means a lot. And because you lend us your ears each week, we want to connect with you. Whether that's through Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, you can follow The Other Show on any of those social media platforms. Additionally, we invite you to join us in our Facebook group, The Other Group. It's a fun little community we hope you will want to be a part of. To join, search The Other Group on Facebook or just click on the link in this episode's show notes. Now, we may be seasoned podcasters, but this is a fairly new podcast. So we would love your help in getting the word out about The Other Show. The easiest way to help is by simply hitting the subscribe button on whatever podcast platform you listen to us on. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and even YouTube. Subscribing helps others find The Other Show much easier. Also, while you're hitting the subscribe button, please leave us a review. We really do read each one, including those one-star rubbish reviews. And if you're looking for a way to show the world how much you love The Other Show, you can stop by our store, The Other Store, to grab some swag, like shirts, hats, hoodies, stickers, and much more. You can shop at theother.show/store, or by simply clicking on the direct link in this episode's show notes. But guys, remember, when you're not here listening to us on The Other Show, you can listen to me on my other show, The Party in the Back.
You can hear me on my other show, Bacon Cell.
And you can hear me on my other show,